were writing a column, right? If the Dallas Morning News, backed up the Brinks truck and they said, "Hey, Mosley, we want you to write a column about mini camps and your experience this past week at the Star," what would your featured item be? What are you talking about? What's the column coming out of these little off-season meetings that they just had and you had a front row to?
Well, I hope you know that was me sneaking in that. He did not want to talk about the Bears or Caleb Williams, but the news hound in me, I hated not somehow bringing it up. So Ed's known Eberflus for a long time, and he kind of was able to, before we started, go, could I bring it up in this context? And the guy's like, I prefer you not, but I do have an answer. And to me, that was like go time, like not like, oh, okay, we won't bring it up. It was like, you got to get something. And that I knew because of that Caleb Williams controversial stuff about him not having people to watch film with, that needed to get brought up somehow. So anyway, we did get that involved. But that would not be my Cowboys headline. I would probably, I think there were two things. I think it's very interesting that, and I think it's smart of him. This suggests he has been a head coach. He wasn't a great one, obviously, with the Bears because he went 14-32. But him saying that the reason when he had other opportunities to come to Dallas was because of Dak Prescott, I think was revealing on a couple of different layers. I think it was very smart of him to say. I also thought it was I don't know. I probably would write this somehow. I think it was a little poke at where he just left. I think the whole Caleb Williams and his dad experience was probably not a fun one. And hopefully Caleb Williams turns out fine. But I got to think, the Eberflus didn't tell us this, but I got to feel like, especially all that stuff that came out, he's got to have some pretty rough feelings toward Caleb Williams. So I think that was a rebuke of Williams, praise of this quarterback. So I think that's a good place to start. And I think secondly, I thought that he was more revealing. We did a similar type thing with last year's defensive coordinator, Mike Zimmer, at this time, and had a one-on-one with him. And I think Eberflus is, he was pretty candid about how he was going to use Micah. And I think what's interesting is this is a man who's known for that Tampa 2. He's got the Tampa, those great Buccaneers defenses. So you think of Monty Kiffin, Rod Marinelli, that whole gang. He comes from those people, okay?
Let's stop the run. Let's take the ball away. That's
and to be somewhat static, like he's not one for just a lot of exotic looks and moving people all around. He likes to kind of line up and really get good at what they do. And I thought that was interesting because he was basically right away, he said, we've got to continue moving him around. So I think that was a kind of alluding to who he's been in the past and what he knows he needs to do with Micah. But I think he understands that, and I didn't bring this up, but I also think a part of my column would be this is a great situation for the Cowboys and for Eberflus because he has tanked in his head coaching opportunity, all right? It went extremely poorly. But if we think about it, Dan Quinn was an absolute league-wide joke for what happened against the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and then his time fizzled out from there with the Falcons. He rehabbed his image and his career, and then now he's gone on. Now he's looked at as like one of maybe the better head coaches in the league with Washington. So, man, I think there's a lot to this, and I think Eberflus has some great opportunities here. I think the greatest thing, Pete, Scotty, is that this guy is known as the linebacker whisperer. And all these pass rushers / linebackers, the off-the-ball linebackers and the guys that were edge type guys, all of them had their greatest years under Eberflus. So I think that bodes well for a team that has really kind of tried to load up at linebacker, has some very interesting linebackers, including some guys that will be coming back from injury. And so I think that's something to build around. Like, great pass rush combined with some really good runaround linebackers. And I think that's what Eberflus delivers.